Like everybody, I was terribly sad to hear the news. We all knew he was not doing well. I certainly didn't know that his passing was imminent, so it kind of caught me by surprise. But it's a terrible loss. A good class individual, a wonderful man, a friend, a leader, an administrator, a coach. I mean everything. But he was class personified. And that's what made him that extra step above everybody else. We were at a function one evening, and the coach and I were talking, along with others, and this gentleman walked up. This is when Coach Moore's wife was still alive. And she obviously had Alzheimer's, had not for quite a while been able to identify her husband by name. Yet every single day when he was in town, Coach Moore went to that nursing home every single day and sat at her bedside. And this gentleman walked up and he meant the comment in a complimentary way. He said, "Mal," he said, "how do you sit at the bedside of a woman who doesn't even know you anymore? How do you do that every day?" And the coach looked this gentleman in the eye and said, "Because I know her every day." And there darn near wasn't a dry eye in the group standing around. I just tear up thinking of that. That was typical Mal Moore, a man who just, gave his heart to the university, but lived his life in such a very special way. We had a great relationship. I did not really work with him every single day, but we often talked and obviously saw each other. And the funny thing, he would always walk up to me before a game or at halftime, and he'd say, "Now don't forget to mention my name a few times on the air today," which was the last thing he really wanted. Right. But that was always, or if I'd be getting another assignment, a bowl game involving two teams, neither was Alabama, I'd always run it past him just to get his blessing before going off to do another game. And he'd say, "Yeah, no problem, but remember, you got to mention my name once every quarter." So it was a great relationship. We really, again, we knew each other well, but I didn't really work with him on a day-to-day basis, but I always kept him in the loop on everything I did. And again, just a wonderful man. He means so much. Obviously, he was a visionary. He realized many years ago that the university needed to raise money for capital improvement projects. He knew and could see into the future and knew that the Tide was going to have to build new facilities or upgrade existing facilities for all sports to stay competitive, if not continue to be champions. And so he was a visionary in that regard. But I think the thing that impacted me the most was talking to athletic directors and administrators at other schools across the country, or people in the business world. And it was kind of like one of those E.F. Hutton television commercials of years ago. When Mal Moore talked, people listened. And when you hear that repeatedly from this athletic director and that athletic director and this one and that one, you really have it hit home how impactful a man he was in his business, in his industry, and obviously for the University of Alabama. His legacy is multifaceted. Yes, the hiring of Coach Saban was one of the great things he did, and look where the university is again. But his work in capital improvements, in fundraising, things of that nature, and not to mention his playing days and all of his championship rings. I mean, the guy could have started a jewelry store off of all the championship rings. So his legacy is multifaceted, and that's what made him the great athletic director that he was for us. The university was his life. Even when he was working at Notre Dame, even when he was with the Arizona Cardinals of the NFL, his heart was still in Tuscaloosa. This man, with the exception of those couple of jobs, gave his entire life to the University of Alabama. That's what the school meant to him. This man was the University of Alabama and would have it no other way. This was home.